Welcome to the Caregiving Podcast. I'm Inga.
And I'm Julie.
And long story short, we have caregiving. We are two momtrepreneurs who have built an in-home care business from the ground up, guided every step of the way by God's care and fueled by agape love. Almost 14 years later, we felt called to create this podcast as a resource for families with caregiving needs. Whether you care for a family member or are looking for advice on professional caregiving, we want this to be a platform to support you.
Each week, we will come to you with encouraging stories of families who have found the right balance for their loved ones, tips for how to care for them and you, and much more. We hope you continue to join us each week as we share in this exciting new journey together.
Hello, sunshines, and hello, Julie. How are you?
I am really good. I'm really good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Give you a chance to catch your breath.
Never.
What's today?
Dun, dun, dun.
The
50th
episode
of the
Caregiving
podcast.
So strap in, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a good one for you today.
It's a zinger.
You know, last week I think I promised a fun episode and it was pretty deep. But this week, actually, this is fun.
Yes.
I'm so excited actually to get to the end. I'm probably going to speed through the middle because I'm so excited to get to the end.
Yes. About that topic, we are going to put a disclaimer in there.
Yes, trigger warning right now.
Yeah.
And trigger warning when we get to the end.
Yes.
Because we get to share the more colorful stories from our grandparents.
Yes. Yeah. And it's because it's real.
Yes.
Who doesn't have a grandparent or somebody in your life that just sometimes pops off?
Yes.
And you're just like, did you just really say that? Wait a minute. Say it again. That was
I need to write this down. I literally just did that when I was traveling with my mom and grandma. Grandma said something very witty, and I was like, ooh, I have to remember that so I can write it down.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So beware.
Or be excited for the end. It's going to be great. So, Julie, today we're going to be talking about say what.
Yeah. Say what?
Say what? All right. Well, what's a saying that you catch yourself saying a lot?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about it, and I was just like, what do I say? 'Cause sometimes you get in a rhythm where you say something for a while, and then you move on. But the one that I have said constantly my whole life is, oh, I really shouldn't eat this.
And then you laugh.
And I laugh, and I enjoy every bite.
Oh, my gosh.
And then just like Grandma Patsy would say, I can't believe I ate the whole thing.
Yep. There you have it.
Yeah.
I have a couple. Oh, for Pete's sake.
Oh, yeah.
You ever say that one? Sometimes interchangeable with, oh, for heaven's sake.
Yes, that.
And then one of my more favorite ones that we'll describe in more detail at the end is, and we're off like Lottie's drawers.
Yes. We will want an explanation on that one.
I'm still looking for an explanation, but I will share with you what I have gathered together in my brain and turned it into.
Right
how
on.
I perceive
That's
the
funny.
statement.
That's funny. Yeah, when you call or I have something going on at the house, I'll say, oh, I had a catastrophe.
Yep. Happens regularly.
However, here in the office, when Tuna's around, it's a catastrophe.
Yes, or a catastrophe.
Yeah. Yes.
Mostly a catastrophe.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, I really shouldn't eat that.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. All right. So moving on. The verse that you brought with us today is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7.
Yes.
It says, remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask your father, and he will show you. Your elders, and they will tell you.
Yes.
It's so fitting.
Yes. Yeah, I found that, and I was just like, that's about
the one.
this session.
Yeah.
Session. What we have to do in our lives is slow down and listen to the people in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have I done a home visit, and I'm just like, oh, I wish I would have known you when you were younger.
All the time.
Yeah.
Every time you come back from a home visit, you say that.
Actually, I do, don't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've actually had the pleasure of being able to document some people's words for the family. They've asked us to do that because Dad just loved to tell his stories or whatever. And then you really don't think about that. They just become such a treasured keepsake for the years and years down the road.
And you just can never quite tell them the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no. Absolutely. Everybody's got their story. When I was asking my siblings, to give some input into different sayings, we were talking about grandma, and then my sister said it really, really well about my dad. And she goes, he was really just more situational. It was right there in the moment something would pop off.
Yes.
Once again, did I have a pen to get that? That was a zinger.
You need to use that one later.
Oh, that was a zinger.
Funny. Well, what did you bring for a good news story?
Oh, how humor makes a positive difference, especially now. Mm-hmm. So resilience, creativity, and resourcefulness. Don't those sound like qualities at top most people's priority list as a coronavirus pandemic surges into yet another season? Mm-hmm. And basically, these are precisely the attributes that come from making an effort to laugh, to find always to use humor to push back against the loneliness and anxiety and depression that can leak under the door like a winter gust. So basically, what they're saying is everybody that has survived this pandemic or just actually anything rough in life, basically humor becomes scarce. And you just can't let that happen. And so basically, she said, Exhibit A, 3 friends don't walk into a bar because of the pandemic. Right. I mean, really, why should they do such a thing in the middle of a global pandemic? No joke. But this is when we need humor more than ever. Laughing makes us feel more connected with others, even if we're sharing a giggle through a screen, and triggers our brains to release hormones that strengthen our emotional bonds and just feel good. Mm-hmm. So they did a ton of research and known as the well-used sense of humor with decreased levels of cortisol, known as the stress hormone, and increased blood flow, muscle relaxation, and even, according to some studies, brings on longevity. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's nothing better than a big old belly laugh. Yeah. The right way to, the tears, the right way to find the humor in such a serious situation. Consider the truth, pain, and distance. Examine the truth. Ask how great is the pain and is distance enough. So while a joke about a punchline can sometimes turn bad if you use it at the wrong time, right. Using a crack about lightening up something very serious can be just what the doctor ordered. Right. So finding ways to laugh through hardships reminds us that we're in control of our heart and mind, whatever darkness lies behind the door, and that is a triumph. Mm-hmm. Yes. I even have a thing on my Facebook that says I put a lot of silly crap on here, but I just hope that I'm making one of you smile today, because I am ridiculous. I'll be the first
you are correct. I do not disagree.
I will just be the first to admit that just silly, but really, truly, life is hard, and you've got to look for the sunshine.
Absolutely. Well, it just feels good to laugh.
Oh, my word.
And it's funny. I don't understand how it works, like physically in your body, because sometimes when one person starts laughing and then you start laughing and then you can't stop laughing. I don't even understand how it works.
Well, you are my person that in a serious meeting, we should not sit next to each other.
True story.
Because isn't that the thing, and what's more contagious than a snicker or a baby little fart that happens while you're at church, it just spreads. And I just think about those days where all of the cousins were sitting in the last pew and one would start kind of shaking and they'd touch the other one and the whole pew was just shaking because we were laughing in church.
And everybody's trying
and then you get the look from the parent.
And then I'm sure that helps.
Yeah.
Goodness sakes.
Oh, goodness.
Well, I came up with a few quotes. Most of these are from unknown authors, but just some quotes that I thought were funny. Going to bed early, not leaving my house, not going to a party. My childhood punishments have become my goals.
Oh, right.
Same. There is a reason why 40, 50, and 60 don't look the way they used to, and it's not because of feminism or better living through exercise. It's because of hair dye, said Nora Ephron. This one's great. I want to be so distracted loving life that I never realize I'm getting older.
Oh, isn't that a good one?
Angel Laney Sutton said that. As you get older, 3 things happen. First, your memory goes, and I can't remember the other 2. The older I get, the more I realize that the things that cost nothing hold the most value. That is very true. Very true. Live your life and forget your age. I think we do that every day of our lives.
Yep.
I've reached the age where my train of thought often leaves the station without me. Happens. You're never too old to set another goal or dream a new dream. I like that one.
Yeah.
You don't get smarter as you get older. There's just less stupid stuff left that you haven't already done. That makes me think of my Grandpa Fisher. I'll give you $100 if you can come up with something new. Yeah, inside every old person is a young person wondering what happened.
Oh, my word.
The biggest lie I tell myself is I don't need to write that down. I'll remember it.
Oh, yes.
This is great. That horrifying moment when you're looking for an adult, but you realize you are an adult. So you look around for an older adult, an adultier adult, someone better at adulting than you. Ever been there?
Almost every day.
Yeah. And this one, I've reached the age where my brain went from, you probably shouldn't say that, to, what the hell, let's see what happens. My Grandma Fisher said, on this trip, I'm 92 years old. I can do whatever I want and I can say whatever I want. I thought, you go, Marion. Good for you.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so great.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Well, listeners, if you want to send us a verse or if you have an uplifting story to share with us, a little tidbit anecdote, please email those into the caregivingpodcast@gmail.com.
Right.
We'd love to hear from you.
Oh, so much. Yes, yes. So actually how we're going to start this conversation is talking to seniors. Because have you ever been in a situation where you walk in and then you just kind of look at them and you don't know where to start?
Right.
Well, we're going to give some tips on that.
Yes.
Because it is so easy to talk to these people once you understand what they love to talk about.
Yeah. And understand we're all just people, right?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, exactly. Now, though, I do want to say that they do not become your therapist.
This has happened.
I know.
And sometimes they're naughty. They'll draw things out and then say, oh my God, don't send that person back.
Yeah.
Told me their whole life story.
Yeah.
They're a mess.
Yes. The way that we, through our training and we talk about communication with our seniors is basically we are there for them.
Right.
So let's talk to them about them.
Yes. Well, and basically there's just so much knowledge and wisdom and experience that comes if you just kind of start a conversation.
Oh.
I ended up helping a client a week or so ago get home from a doctor's appointment, and we started talking and found out that he had been a wood shop teacher at the high school that I went to. So we weren't there at the same time, but we ended up knowing a lot of the same people.
Oh, cool.
And kind of just getting that conversation rolling. It was neat to have him start going down memory lane, so to speak, and talking about those different people.
See, that was a trigger.
Yeah.
And it just kept everything going. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so great.
Yeah, it's fun. I love listening to older people talk.
Some of our clients are just, every one of our clients, everybody has a story, but we had some bomber pilots. We have had police. We've had, military. We've nurses,
like intelligence, military.
Oh yeah. James Bond.
Yes. Pretty cool dude.
So cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, basically, again, before you pick your topic, you want to make sure you're good at communicating, and things to remember to keep people engaged is give full attention.
Yeah.
Be patient also, because, you just got to slow down. Enjoy what do they say? Slow down and smell the roses or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Be patient.
Yep.
Focus on just one topic. Don't bounce all over the place like we tend to do these days. And remember that if you're dealing with someone that has any type of cognitive or memory, dementia, Alzheimer's, anything like that, it's really difficult to ask open-ended questions, right? Because they may or may not have the ability to respond to you. So know your audience, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
That, and also know where they are in their day.
Yes.
Because just because they look like they're 96, they may actually, with their disease, be in their teens, in their mind. Right. And another thing is hearing. Hearing is a big deal. And then we have a couple clients that have aphasia. And basically really struggle getting words out. So you don't want to just insist on talking, of course, if that's just going to frustrate them.
Sure.
But for the most part, people do want to visit.
Yes. And one thing my Grandma Fisher said, she said, old people like to be called by their names. A lot of times I think we think out of respect, we want to say Mr. Fisher, Mrs. Fisher, or maybe terms of endearment, but they really just like to be called by their name.
Yep.
Interesting concept.
That is a good one.
So things that you can talk about. The past is great. Again, evaluating where the person is in their ability to share that information with you. But I think for the most part, people like to talk about their past.
Yeah. Yep.
The good parts anyway.
Yeah. And then speaking of good parts, views on the present.
Yeah.
So that's always going to be interesting because we have a lot of clients that the majority of their day they spend just watching the news. And what do we say? You don't want to talk about political or religion.
Yeah, politics or religion.
So be cautious on that. But just, don't argue.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting thing too, is that maybe if you are asking these questions, you aren't necessarily going to agree what's being said back to you, but you have to be appropriate and professional in the way that you handle that conversation.
And respect.
And don't escalate it into an argument.
Oh my goodness. Some people can't help themselves.
That's true.
So change.
Especially on
divert,
Facebook.
Divert.
Looking towards the future is good. Again, if the person is in the right mental space to be able to do that. Talking about favorite things.
Oh, that's probably a good one to get going, huh? Life achievements. Once again, talking about those people that we've known that have had medals of honor, education, just amazing education opportunities that they did, and what kind of a career.
Yeah, and for some people, their life achievement might even be their family. Things like that. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can talk about perhaps colleges or schools that they had gone to. Maybe it's a university, maybe it's a community college, maybe it's a trade school, but that's always a good topic.
Yep. Discuss families. That's probably the list of the favorite things they like to talk about. They're going to be awfully proud of their granddaughter or their son or, any of that. And it's just fun to listen to those stories.
Yeah. Discuss spouses. I have to tell a story about this, and I'm going to try to clean it up a little bit. It was the funniest thing ever in my life. So when Bailey was really little, we took her to a Montessori school, and it was in a town close by here. And so we were a little bit out of our element because we lived in an apartment above Kevin and my motorcycle repair shop. And we weren't elite, I would say. So she's going to this school. And anyway, there's a barbecue that's going to happen. And it was not mandatory, but it was pretty mandatory. So we knew we had to go to the barbecue, and we were a little stressed out, so wondering what the feeling was going to be. And we just felt like we were going to be surrounded by people that perhaps maybe felt they were in a higher level than we were. And so anyway, we went into it with bad attitude, but I'll tell you, this lady humbled me right away. And I thought, you are my people. So basically, she came up to me, and Bailey had made friends with another girl that was going to that school. And so the friend's mom came up to me and introduced herself, and we started talking, and she was talking about her husband, and she kept saying her husband's name, oh, so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. And everybody knows so-and-so. And oh, he's so wonderful. So-and-so, so-so, and she's just going on and on and on about the perception that the rest of the world had about her husband. And she said, really? Because he's kind of a bleep at home. Yeah, it was great. And I was like, I'm going to get along fine here. I think I'll be okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So be careful when discussing spouses.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Point of my story.
Yes. What do they do to get rid of stress? They might have some kind of a thought process or remedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandma likes to read the paper. She likes to take catalogs and look every single page from front to back.
Oh, yeah. We had one client, he liked to have his toddy at 4:00 every day. That was
helps.
his stress relief.
My mom likes to make music.
Oh,
she's very instrumental.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah. You can talk about the generation that you are from, right? So see what their thoughts are on that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be a lot to be said.
Technology, I can almost hardly say it. The changes as they've seen in technology. Lots and lots of stuff. What's the memes where you're like, in my day, we had to walk 10 feet through 6 inches of shag rug to change the TV.
Oh, right. Yes. Now we have remotes.
Now we can
probably just speak it.
Yeah.
To our Alexas.
Really? Oh, see, look, I'm going to be that person. I didn't know Alexis
so anyone
did
that has a conversation with Julie in the future, soon we're going to give some tips on how to talk to her.
I thought I was elite when I could cut and paste a link.
Julie, cut and paste is so funny to me because when we first met, your cut and paste was literally scissors cutting and pasting on another piece of paper. You've come a long way, baby.
I still like that, though. I like to touch stuff. It's not my fault. It's
I
how
know.
I was made.
It's too bad we can't pan the camera to Alyssa for just a minute because she's very...
I'm going to go scoop her eyes up off the floor. She just rolled them out of her head.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. So there will be a lot to be said about technology.
Remember the first time I got a smartphone?
Sadly, yes, I do remember. That poor sales guy.
Look at me now.
Look at you now. You can bubble pop with the best of them.
Just going to say, bring it on, solitaire.
Yeah. Okay, so basically there are kind of some topics, discussion topics. I don't know if you want to go through those or not.
Oh,
but
there's a ton of them. Who's your favorite actor or actress? Last night when we went to sit down for dinner, Mike had popped on TMC or whatever. And there was a show that came on. It was from 1931. And he's just like, I bet none of those people are even alive anymore. And so we had to do the math.
Yep.
And, I was like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
But it was probably a movie somewhere somebody else had watched and really enjoyed. And, who did you fall in love with? What is something that is missing in modern life? What is the biggest lesson you learned from teenage years?
I like that one.
Yeah. Yes.
I would definitely ask that one.
Yeah. And so then the biggest thing is like the more intimate people that are in your lives, like your grandparents, get specifics with them. What was your birthplace? What was your nickname that your friends called you? What was your first job and what were you doing there? How did you make your first money? How much was it? What language did you wish to learn but never had a chance to? Did you believe in Santa Claus? Just those things.
What?
I still do.
I do too.
Because he's real.
If you keep believing, he keeps showing up.
Oh, you must believe to receive.
Yes. Ask about pets.
Yep.
Right? What kind of pets did you have? Why? Were you good in math?
Oh, no.
We'll leave that. We won't ask that one. Maybe even like different games that you played with friends. My mom just re-taught me. I had known how to play cribbage before, but had just kind of fallen off. So she gave me a refresher. Oh. And I love it. Oh. It's so much fun. I want to get a refresher on Pinochle.
I was just going to say that's the big card game when we all get together as everybody except me. I sit back.
You watch.
The Pinochle is not, but that's our family deal.
Yeah. We like Spoons. Have you ever played Spoons?
No.
That's a fast action game. And it's kind of a tradition. We have a family that gets lambs from us, and they tend to come up, pretty regularly. And so always when they come, we'll sit down with the kids and whoever the adults are that we can talk into participating, and we play a game of Spoons.
Cute.
It's fun.
Oh, fun. Yeah. So just pick a topic that is appropriate for your person.
Yep. And be aware, if you pick a topic and you start out and it seems like it's going in the wrong direction, try to maybe reel it back in and go a different direction.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So in the second portion, which is what we're going to start now, we are going to actually bring some real life sayings that we've encountered in our lives with our parents, our grandparents, and others around us. And there might be a few swears in there.
There's definitely going to be some swears in mine. So I would say that this would be your trigger warning, or this would be your opportunity to
turn us off.
Turn us off if you are going to be offended by some of the real life things.
Yes.
We've kept it pretty clean to this point.
Yes, we have.
There are some sayings and just little stories that I have from growing up that, they stick in my head as some of the funniest moments. And
yes.
Yeah. So
yes.
Trigger warning. If you don't want to listen to any swearing or bad jokes, it's probably time to turn us off.
Yeah.
But if you want a good laugh and you have a good sense of humor, I think this is going to be fun.
What was that thing that you had said earlier that, what is the thing when I said, gosh, what do I say the most? And you said, usually
inappropriate things. That's what you mostly say.
Yes.
Yes. We can't take you everywhere.
I know.
That's okay. Actually, we can pull it together.
We can clean it up if we need to. Yeah. So you start. Give us one of your zingers.
Well, I said one of the things early on in here is that I will say a lot of times, and we're off like Lottie's drawers. So when I was little, I didn't really know what that, I just knew that meant we were leaving. But then I started to analyze, and I'm like, well, who's Lottie? She must be promiscuous because why are her drawers always off? So,
because we leave a long at a time.
Lottie's drawers are off a lot. What is she doing? How does she make her money? I don't know. I still don't know. I don't know if it was a family saying or if, maybe listeners out there have heard that before. Who is Lottie? I have to know.
Oh, that's really funny. Oh, that's really funny. My dad had, whenever we were feeding the cattle, he'd always say, "Don't go scotch on the grain."
Yep.
I was like, I don't know what that means, but I'm not gonna.
Do you now?
No, I still don't, but I never go scotch on the grain.
We'll never do it.
We'll never do it.
I think, doesn't it kind of mean like don't go light on the grain?
Skimp.
Maybe don't
Yeah,
skimp.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to tell a story about my great grandpa Drusen. So he, throughout his life, he rarely, if ever, went to the doctor or was hospitalized, anything like that. I mean, he was, he just didn't go. So I don't know if that's because he wasn't sick or just he refused to go. But at some point, as he got older, he was in his 80s and he ended up getting a tumor behind his eye. And so, do you know what's coming?
I know.
So he had to go to the doctor, and I guess he was at one appointment, and a rather young physician came in and was talking to him and, doing a bit of an assessment and said, "Well, Mr. Drusen, I see that you're walking with a cane. What's the reason for that?" Grandpa Norm said, "I'm 86 years old, you simple shit." It was as simple as that.
There was no reason. It just was that old.
Yep.
Oh, that is a good one. Oh, so in this situation, I'm assuming that Patsy was talking about whiskey. But maybe not just that. She just said it's good for coughs and colds and sore assholes and makes childbirth a pleasure.
Patsy wins. Oh, Patsy. All right. I don't know how to follow that.
Oh, that was a zinger.
Grandpa Fisher, he used to say, and this is one that it took a little practice to get it down, but he used to say, "Jesus Christus Almightiest God damn us." I'm not sure the context.
Oh, well, that covered a lot.
It really did. It hit them all.
Yeah. Another Patsyism is that she wouldn't kick him out of bed for eating crackers. When we were watching TV and
you saw a handsome man.
Magnum PI would come on and she just, I wouldn't kick him out of bed for eating crackers. Patsy. Oh, I was mortified when I was younger and she'd say that.
And now it's just dang funny.
Dang funny, yeah.
Grandma Fisher used to always say that you only need to know 2 words in every language, and those are shit and damn. Seems like solid advice.
Right? I'm just envisioning when you're traveling to France, and those are the 2 words that you thought you had to know.
I thought maybe where's the bathroom, but Grandma Fisher is very wise, so she must be onto something.
Right. Yeah. That's funny. Another one, Patsy. Free. Honey, I'm not free, but I'm damn reasonable.
Oh, man. I don't even know. Patsy's great.
Oh.
It's too bad we can't have a guest episode with Patsy and Marion.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to tell a story about when my brother and I we actually, for a period of time, and we talked about this on the last episode, kids living with grandkids. So my mom had gone back to college for a semester, and she had to be in a different area in the state of Montana. So my brother and I ended up living with my grandparents for a period of time. And I remember one day we were at the dinner table, and my brother had a former girlfriend was there, and she was so sweet. And we're around the table, and my grandma was talking about, because my brother and I drove a Volkswagen Bug. And if anybody is familiar with those, they're cold. They're really cold. They never get warm. Even when it's 100 degrees out, it's just always cold in there. So grandma had picked up, she volunteered at the clothes closet and thrift store. And so somewhere along the way, she had picked up something to put on the seat for my brother to sit on. So she's telling Oli that she had this, whatever it was, to put on the seat. And grandpa's just grumbling and, why does he need that? And oh, Jesus, and blah, 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 blah. And basically, because she's explaining, you put this on the seat and then you won't be cold when you sit in there. So grandpa says, Jesus Christ, Mary, and his butt's not cold. And mind you, we have a guest, probably hasn't been at the house very often, sitting around the table. So we left off on Jesus Christ, Marion, his butt's not cold. To which Grandma Marion said, how would you know, Charles? Have you traded assholes lately? Okay, so moving forward to the same dinner. Grandpa then responds by talking about the Sweethearts magazine. And this apparently the Sweethearts magazine was probably the print version of something like, I don't know what those online dating things are. Anyway, so he's talking about, now he's talking about how, well, he'd been looking at the Sweethearts magazine and perhaps he would find him a nice ranch wife and, you know, one that wasn't quite as mouthy as Grandma Marion. And so this goes on for a little bit. And Grandma just, you know, without skipping a beat says, Shannon, do you think you could pass me the beans if you could get it over the pile of bullshit that was just laid out on the table? I don't know if she ever came back.
I would have loved to have been at that dinner table. That would have been hilarious.
So funny because it was just all in, there was no uprise or anything. It was just... Yeah, it was great. I remember it. It's burned into my brain.
Back and
in
forth.
A good way.
Oh, that's funny. My dad was a very wise man. And at one point he actually said, you know, your mom wears the pants around here. I think he was trying to suck up a bit.
Ah, yes. Well, don't we all? Don't all the moms wear the pants?
Yes.
In certain ways,
But he was so smart to verbalize and acknowledge that.
For sure. Grandpa Fisher used to always say when we'd be getting ready to go somewhere, do you have your hat, your ass, and your passport?
I've started
hat,
saying
ass, and
that.
Passport.
I haven't started to say that. Oh, because I've heard you say that. Yeah. That's so funny.
Yep.
Oh, Dad. So when you were actually literally crying, so he'd say, well, for crying out loud. Well, I am. It always make you stop. Yeah. Yes, I am crying out loud.
That was probably smart though, because he got you to stop for a second.
Didn't want to hear it.
Yeah. Well, this one is, I think it came actually from my Aunt Janice. And, you know, when maybe you were in a position in life that you had eaten a few too many cinnamon rolls, or in my case, had a few too many Copper Mountain moonshines, you might reach critical ass mass.
Yes.
That's when you got to stop and reassess.
Assess the mass.
Yes.
So Dad had one of my cousins. He just teased her constantly, and I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to bring back any of that childhood trauma. But so I'll use my name instead. And one time when she walked in, he goes, "Wow, Julie looks good for Julie." Yeah.
That reminded me of one that my Grandpa Fisher used to say, and he'd say, pretty good for a girl.
Yeah.
Or not too bad for a girl.
Yeah.
And he always, of course, was just joking. But
yeah.
So I knew that. But, you know, you can't say that to everybody because it might hurt feelings.
Yeah.
Not too bad for a girl. Pretty good for a girl.
Right? Cute. Well, my Grandpa Walt, there was so many cousins. And we all answered to girl. And 90% of us were girls. And then there was just a couple of boys. But it was so funny. Hey, girl. We'd just come running because we knew.
Hey, girl.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it earlier on, but cat's ass trophy. That was one that, oh my gosh, are we having a cat's ass trophy?
That's funny. So my dad was a incredible cowboy his whole life. Yep. You know, just lived on that ranch and loved his cows. And he's also a member of the tribe. Yes. And so his saying was that cowboys don't care and Indians don't give a shit. And I claim fame to both.
Nice.
Yeah.
Grandpa Fisher used to always call the beauty parlor or the salon, it was the House of Miracles.
Yes. I need that.
Generally, we came out looking quite a bit better than we looked going in.
That's so true. Whenever I'm sitting there with that cape on, I'm just like, oh, honey, you're so pretty.
So pretty.
Oh, so pretty.
It's a little frightening when you see yourself with the tin foil on.
Yes.
Getting miracled up.
Well, speaking of that, Patsy did say of me, and then, of course, everybody else that she ever saw, that was the cutest thing God ever strung a gut through.
Oh, I've never heard that one before.
Isn't that cute?
Oh, yep, that is good.
That's a good one.
All right. Well, my final one is Grandpa Fisher's title, I guess, for like a craft show. Mm-hmm. He would call them the Arts and Crap Show. Oh, you're headed to the Arts and Crap Show?
Oh, that's cute. Yeah. Grandma Effie was very very quiet, very just a beautiful, beautiful soul. And her flowers and her garden and her chickens, all of that was so important to her. So she didn't always say a lot, but when she said it, it was very important. And actually, I'll never forget when I was asking her for advice one day, she just said, go with your gut.
Yep.
Be smart and go with your gut.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's about the most solid advice you can give.
Oh, it's so true. If you get that feeling, there's something amiss.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I saved my favorite for last.
I think I haven't even heard it.
No.
Have I?
No, you haven't.
Oh, God.
No,
okay.
because I wasn't going to tell the one. That's really naughty.
Oh.
I better not say that
Okay.
one. But this one was Grandpa Bill. And then after he was gone, Grandma Pat took it from there. And it was just so cute because I'd make her say it more than once. Grandpa Bill was actually an auctioneer.
Oh.
And I remember sitting on his lap and say, Grandpa, do that thing, do that thing. And then he'd do his, hey, anyway, it was awesome. And I just go, oh, do it again.
Right.
But anyway, one of the things that he said that just tickled me to death, birdie, birdie in the sky, dropped a whitewash in my eye. Me no sissy, me no cry. Me thanks God that cows don't fly.
Yep.
Oh, that was one
Good
that
one.
was said quite often through our house as I grew up.
I am glad for that too.
Yeah.
So is the windshield of my car.
Yes.
Oh. Well, listeners, I hope we didn't scar you too much. We thought it would be fun to add some real life grandma, grandpa sayings and what, really goes on.
Yes.
The good stuff, the funny
good
stuff,
Yeah.
the things that we remember.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So if you have not yet subscribed, please do that on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or go to YouTube. Leave us reviews. You can share us with your friends. Please go and join the Apaga Care and Share group. And I think that kind of wraps it up for the day, doesn't it?
Oh, my gosh. This one was fun.
It was.
It actually brought back a lot of memories.
I know.
And a lot of times when you were just giggling.
Yes.
Giggled so hard.
For sure.
Oh, my word. So fun.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Me too.
Yes.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Have a good day.